Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this video, the full version is available on Patreon. I'll be uploading all my content there going forward.
Chapter 1. Ding! Congratulations on binding the God level training system. Ding! Get a novice gift package. Ding! You got the Chakra Fruit, perfect version. Ding! You have obtained infinite chakra, primary immortal body, God level not seal. Clap your hands, call whatever you want, 5-line C-level ninjutsu. In a large room, Blast sat up from the bed suddenly, and when he heard the voice in his mind, he couldn't help but feel a turmoil in his heart. Devil fruit? Isn't this something unique to the pirate world? Could it be? I have traveled through time? And came to my favorite pirate world. Not only that, but it also binds a God-level cultivation system, which rewards a newcomer gift package, the Chakra Fruit? Isn't this the fruit in the Naruto world? The perfect version, isn't it afraid of sea water? His name is Hai Feng, and he is a dick. My favorites are Hokage and pirates. During an official sea figure event organized by pirates, unfortunately encountered a sea storm, and when I woke up, I was in the world in front of me. As a dick, he is certainly no stranger to such things as time travel and systems, and even fantasized about it, but he never thought that one day it would really happen to him. In order to make sure this was not a dream, he clapped his hands immediately to feel it for himself. Suddenly a wave of energy gathered in his mouth, he opened his mouth and spit forward. A huge fireball shot out immediately and hit the wall in front of it. Art fire escape ho fireball. Boom! A big hole was blasted out of the wall. At the same time, a voice sounded in my mind. Ding! You cast fire escape and gained 100*100 experience points. Ding! Huo Dun advanced to B level. Please choose, fire escape, extinguishing the great fire, fire escape, Phoenix immortal fire art, fire escape, dragon fire art. Ding! Obtained fire escape, extinguish the great fire. Immediately afterwards, a picture popped up in my mind. Hey Chakra Fruit ability user. Perfect version, unawakened. Chakra unlimited. God level not seal clap your hands, say whatever you want. Basic 3 body technique gifted by the system. Immortal body, primary 1/100000, upgradable. Fire escape, great fire extinction, level B1/100000, upgradable. Water dungeon, water array wall, sea level 1/10,000, upgradable. Wind escape, big breakthrough, sea level 1/10,000, upgradable. Thunder dungeon, ground walking, level C1/10,000, upgradable. Earth dun, beheading technique in the heart, sea level 1/10,000, upgradable. Fruit ability, sea level upgradable, affected by the level of 5 series of ninjutsu. This is not a dream, I really traveled to the world of pirates. Gale suddenly became excited. You bastard, what are you doing? However, before he could savor the joy carefully, a rough voice suddenly sounded. I saw a middle-aged man wearing a basic navy uniform and a basic navy hat walk in, pointing at the big hole in the wall that was blasted by the blast just now. Miscellaneous soldiers. Hearing this, Hai Feng noticed that the clothes he was wearing were exactly those worn by the lowest orderly servants in the navy. The navy is divided into miscellaneous soldiers, third-class soldiers, second-class soldiers, first-class soldiers, corporals, sergeants, warrant officers, second lieutenants, captains, majors, lieutenant colonels, brigadier generals, major generals, lieutenant generals, marshals 19 ranks, corporals and below, wear the basic navy uniform and hat. Miscellaneous soldiers, I'll give you a chance to fix this hole immediately, or you will be kicked out of the navy. Hurry up, don't think that miscellaneous soldiers can fool around. At this time, the rough voice sounded again. Seeing that Hai Feng was in a daze, he immediately grabbed it. Yes, I understand. Seeing this, Gale flashed lightly, avoiding the grasp of the middle-aged man. Then came to the hole that was blasted. For him, repairing this hole is just a piece of cake. A Tudun can handle it easily. However, he just came to this world, and he was completely at a loss before his eyes, so naturally he couldn't easily show his abilities. Okay. The middle-aged man couldn't help being surprised to see that Hai Feng escaped his grasp. He is a second-class soldier. Although he just grabbed it casually just now, the handyman Gai Feng actually avoided it, which surprised him. But when he saw Hai Feng obediently leaving to repair the hole, he gave up. Although miscellaneous soldiers are not even at the bottom of the navy, they will not bully them at will. The navy has naval discipline. Afterwards, Hai Feng slowly repaired the hole while slowly understanding his current world. 3 days later, he finally figured everything out. He was originally an ordinary villager living on an unnamed island. He was slaughtered by pirates one day and was rescued by the navy. He volunteered to join the navy for revenge. Unfortunately, as an ordinary person like him, he could only be included as a miscellaneous soldiers. In this world where pirates are rampant, not everyone can join the navy and become an official sailor. The navy has a very strict system. The middle-aged man who noticed the movement and asked him to repair the hole was called Beibo. He was in charge of managing this area. He could be regarded as his boss, a second-class soldier. And the position he was in at this time was actually the G3 branch on the Great Route. The base under the jurisdiction of Lieutenant General Garp. Now, he has figured out his current situation. Immediately he couldn't help but hesitate. As a loyal Sea fan, since I came to this world, what I hope most is to join the Straw Hats, meet Luffy, Zoro, and the others, and help them become kings. But that's clearly not realistic right now. Not to mention that he is currently on this great route, and it is not an easy task to leave the navy. Even if he can successfully leave, it will be as difficult as climbing the sky to find someone in this vast sea. One cannot live alone in the ocean. In the unpredictable sea, you may encounter pirate attacks at any time, as well as various unexpected dangers. Even with his strength, these are not problems, but without a ship, without a navigator, he can't sail. What's more, he is still a road idiot. Can't tell the difference between southeast and northwest. Forget it, it's not bad to be a sailor, to uphold justice and wipe out pirates, not to mention, under Garp's command. Thinking of this, he immediately dismissed the idea. The navy is a symbol of justice. Although there are a few extreme figures, they cannot change the essence. What's more, when he was in the navy, he naturally wouldn't just play a small role. After finally coming to this world, it is natural to go crazy. Of course, the premise of all this is strength. Only with strong strength can you control your own destiny as you like. Gai Feng murmured, a sharpness flashed in his eyes. With two things, the god-level cultivation system and the Chakra Fruit, he has confidence. It can even be said to be a breeze. Late at night, Gale came to the beach and started to practice in an inconspicuous corner. The most important thing right now is naturally to improve strength. Water escape, water formation wall. Feng done, big breakthrough. Lei done, let's go. Tu done, earth flow wall. Immediately, there was a wall of water as high as a person, a gust of wind with a force of level 5, an incomparably fast lightning that ran across the ground like a snake, and a flow of soil. 4 kinds of ninjutsu were performed together. With the blessing of god-level knot seals and unlimited chakra, he clapped his hands and shouted whatever he wanted. No scruples. 4 kinds of ninjutsu, almost in no particular order, blasted together. In order not to attract attention, he deliberately chose this kind of place, and controlled the power of the spell within a certain range. However, although it was only a sea-level ninjutsu, it still caused quite a commotion, and the sea in front of him suddenly became rough. At the same time, the system prompting the upgrade sounded. Ding! You cast Water Dungeon and gained 100*100 experience points. Ding! Promoted to B-level ninjutsu. Ding! Please choose Water Escape, Water Dragon Bullet Technique, Water Escape, Breaking Torrent, Water Escape, Big Explosion Water Shock Wave. Ding! Get Water Escape, Water Dragon Bullet Technique. Just by using it, the C-level Water Escape is upgraded to the B-level Water Escape. Not only that, other ninjutsu are upgraded at the same time. Ding! Get Wind Escape, Suppression. Ding! Get Earth Dungeon, the Art of Hardening. Ding! Obtain Thunder Dungeon, Pseudo Darkness. Ding! Unlock the Fruit B-level ability. Please choose Flying Thunder God Art, Dirty Earth Reincarnation, 8-Door Dungia. Ding! Get the Flying Thunder God technique. Just the initial practice, the strength will be raised by a level immediately. And after the fruit is upgraded, it also unlocks a bug-like ability. This system is simply a fortress. Chapter 2. Hey Chakra Fruit Ability User. Perfect version, unawakened. Chakra Unlimited. God level not seal clap your hands, say whatever you want. Basic 3-body technique gifted by the system. Immortal Body, Primary 1/100000, upgradable. Fire Escape, Extinguishing Seal with Great Fire, Level B1/100000. Water Escape, The Art of Water Dragon Bullet, Level B1/100000. Earth Dungeon, Huangchuan Swamp, Class B1/100000. Wind Escape, Crushing Damage, Level B1/100000. Lightning Dungeon, False Darkness, Class B1/100000. Art of Flying Thunder God, 1/10000000 for 1 section. Fruit Ability, B-level can be upgraded, affected by the level of 5 series of ninjutsu. Looking at his attributes in front of him, Hai Feng was extremely satisfied. B-level ninjutsu already possesses very powerful power. In particular, the unlocked Flying Thunder God technique can be described as a magic escape skill. The reason why he chose the technique of Flying Thunder God is because in the current world of pirates, he must first have the ability to protect himself. After all, pirates are rampant, on the sea, who knows what powerful people you will meet. With the Flying Thunder God technique, even if he encounters a general level figure, he can easily retreat completely. Drop. As if affected by the movement caused by his cultivation just now, the entire G3 base immediately sounded the siren. As expected of a base under Garp's jurisdiction, the defenses are really tight. I'm already very powerful in the control technique, but I didn't expect it to still attract attention. Seeing this, Gale couldn't help frowning slightly. Garp really didn't do it. This naval hero is top-notch in terms of his own strength and management ability. He didn't dare to neglect at the moment, and left immediately. Even if he has mastered the technique of Flying Thunder God, if he exposes himself at this moment, he will probably be treated as a spy. Now is not the time for a showdown. Immediately pick up a stone, engrave the Flying Thunder God formula, throw the stone, and fly away. Because he is a miscellaneous soldier and lives in the most fringe place, he was woken up last and told that there may be an enemy invasion, so be vigilant. The person who notified was still Biber. He pushed open the door roughly, pulled the sleeping Gale up, and shouted. Miscellaneous soldiers, get up quickly and be alert immediately, there is movement at sea. Yes. Seeing this, Gai Feng naturally didn't dare to neglect, and got up immediately. At this time, the entire G3 base has entered a state of full martial law, and the seaside where he was originally located has been surrounded. However, Garp did not dispatch, but sent his adjutant Bogart. At this time, Bogart was leading a group of people to search by the sea, but unfortunately they searched all night, but found nothing. Seems to be just plain waves of the ocean. The technique of Flying Thunder God is to move directly through the space without leaving any traces. If he can find the traces, he will be damned. The next day, the vigilance of the entire G3 branch increased again, and at the same time, the training of the Navy became more tense. Although no enemy was found, the entire G3 branch became even more martial law. After all, even the slightest calm in the sea should not be careless. But at this time Haifeng is not going to continue to be a miscellaneous soldier, he wants to improve his level. So find Bibbo. What? You want to take part in the Navy examination and officially become an official sailor? Do you think the Navy examination is a casual game? Go back and do chores. At this time, Beibo was in charge of the training, and when he heard Haifeng's words, he was startled at first, and then he sneered, his face full of disdain. It's not that he underestimated Haifeng, but that Haifeng has only joined the Navy for a month. What's more, the power of Gale, and the details, he has seen clearly for a long time. This kind of thing also wants to participate in the naval examination. What is the assessment of being a sea soldier? Do you play house? Promotion among the Navy, even the lowest and most ordinary third-class soldier, also requires a strong force. Not only him, but also the other sailors around him burst into laughter after hearing what Haifeng said. Hailstorm, right? It's not that easy to pass the sea soldier's test. You've only been a soldier for a month. Is it because you can't stand the endless marginal work of the miscellaneous soldiers, and you lost your patience? I advise you to take back this bold idea, or you will be beaten black and blue. As a miscellaneous soldier, Haifeng has been doing chores for a month. He doesn't know other people, but others know him. At this moment, when they heard Haifeng's words, they all disapproved. How can it be so easy to be a sea soldier? Even among them, a large majority came from miscellaneous soldiers, so they naturally knew the difficulties. Haifeng has only been working for a month, but wanting to become a sea soldier is simply a fantasy. I'm serious, I'm not joking. However, in the face of everyone's sneers, Haifeng didn't care, but looked at Beibo seriously. Really? Then you smash this with one punch first. Seeing this, Beibo sneered, stretched out his hand and pointed to the thick wooden stake next to him, and said disdainfully. To become an official sailor, the most basic thing is strength. If you can break that stake with one punch, you will be considered a passer. Can you break this stake with one punch and become a sea soldier? Hearing this, Gai Feng nodded seriously and walked towards the stake. Not bad. I can guarantee it. Beibo nodded affirmatively. Don't underestimate this wooden stake. If you don't have enough strength, you will only hurt yourself. That's right, to break it, you need at least 10 powers. Most people have to train for more than half a year to have this kind of power. I suggest you don't force it. Miscellaneous soldier boy, you'd better listen to advice, otherwise. Seeing that Haifeng was walking towards the stake in a serious manner, the other sailors kindly persuaded him. They are really out of good intentions, because in the sea, they often have to fight with pirates to the death. Even the lowest sea soldiers must have 10 powers. Dao Li is the basic unit for the Navy to measure a person's strength, and 10 Dao Li is the entry point. But even if it is just an entry level, it is not something that ordinary people can achieve. They're not joking with Haifeng, they're telling the truth. But don't wait for them to finish. Gale came to the stake and punched it out. Crack! The stake was immediately smashed to pieces. What? Seeing this, Beibo couldn't help being stunned. Really broken? What a joke! And the sailors all around also took a deep breath. Really broken? Especially a few of them who were still full of disapproval, and who were about to watch a joke, looked at Gai Feng in disbelief at this moment. This guy, really did it? Any questions? Haifeng didn't speak, but looked at Bibo and said calmly. Impossible, how can you? Hearing this, Bibo immediately reacted, shook his head, and looked at the shattered wooden stake in front of him. He still couldn't believe it. Hai Feng is a handyman under his command. This month, he has seen Hai Feng's performance with his own eyes, and he thinks he understands Hai Feng fairly well. He is by no means a genius with extraordinary talents, but just an ordinary person. But the scene at the moment is completely beyond his cognition. Crack! Crack! Seeing this, Gale did not speak, and spoke directly with actions. He punched again and again, smashing 8 wooden stakes around him before he stopped, and looked at Biber again. I was wrong. Seeing this, Bibo was dumbfounded, completely speechless. Even if he doesn't believe it anymore, the facts are in front of him, so he can't help but not believe it. Not only him, but other sailors around him also woke up like a dream. A moment ago, who would believe such a thing, but now they have to believe it. Hey, 8 really did it. What happened? However, at this moment, a serious voice sounded. I saw a man wearing a navy justice coat, a beige suit, and a beige hat covering his eyes with a knife walking over. It was Bogart. At this time, the entire G3 base was under full martial law, and he personally led people to patrol. The movement here immediately caught his attention. It's Lord Bogart. Seeing Bogart, the Navy saluted immediately. Bieber even stepped forward quickly, explaining what happened here respectfully. Master Bogart, it's like this, miscellaneous Bing Feng Feng, you want to apply to become an official sailor. As GARP's adjutant, Bogart does not have a specific military rank, but in the entire G3, he has the right to number 1 under GARP. Even because of GARP's laziness, he is the real manager of the entire G3. The entire G3 base, big and small, is under his control. What's your name? Hearing this, Bogart glanced at the scattered wooden stakes and looked at Gale. Chapter 3. Blast. Hearing this, Gale immediately replied. Who's in charge here? Bogart nodded and looked around. It's me. Bibo stepped forward immediately. Recently strengthened vigilance. After Bogart lightly confessed, he turned and left. It's just a trivial matter of promotion for a miscellaneous soldier. He is an adjutant next to Garp, a big shot in charge of the entire base. How could he care? That is to say, I happened to see the movement here and just happened to be attracted to it. I didn't expect to see Lord Bogart. This is a big man. Thanks to you, kid, I'm so lucky to meet such a big man as Bogart. Watching Bogart leave, the surrounding sailors became excited. A big man like Bogart is usually out of reach, but now he can actually meet him in person, which is naturally exciting. Remembering that they were attracted by the movement caused by the blast, they all patted the blast immediately. Master Bogart seldom speaks, and there are very few things that he can notice. Boy, do it well. Bieber also looked at Gale. The title has changed from miscellaneous soldier to kid. Obviously, the strength that Hai Feng showed just now has won his approval. Is it? Hearing this, Gai Feng smiled lightly. This is just the beginning. Soon everyone will remember his name. The next day, Hai Feng came to the 3rd class soldier assessment area of the school grounds to participate in the promotion assessment. The Navy has its own promotion system, step by step, very strict. Even if it is the lowest 3rd class soldier, there is an examiner who has personally seen it. But this is naturally not a problem for Gale. After smashing the stake in front of him with one punch, he was easily promoted to a 3rd class soldier. Seeing this, the examiner nodded, indicating that it was passed. However, Hai Feng would naturally not be satisfied with mere 3rd class soldiers, and proposed to continue to be promoted to 2nd class soldiers on the spot. Are you going to be promoted to private class? Hearing this, the examiner in charge of Gale immediately couldn't help frowning slightly. Although there is only one level difference between a second-class soldier and a third-class soldier, the difficulty and requirements are geometrically doubled. The third class only needs 10 Dao's strength, but the second-class soldier needs to reach 20 Dao's strength, fully doubled. He has already read the information on Haifeng, but he is just a miscellaneous soldier, and he has only been in it for a month. It is a miracle that he can pass the third-class soldier assessment. Now he directly proposes to participate in the second-class soldier assessment. Could it be that he thinks the second-class soldier assessment is so easy? No way, he actually wants to be directly promoted to a second-class soldier. Really, the third-class soldier and the second-class soldier are not at the same level. It's rare to see someone who goes directly to 2 levels. Is it a genius? At this time, many people around the second-class soldier assessment area are participating in the assessment. Seeing Gai Feng come directly to the second-class examination area after taking the third-class examination, they couldn't help but look over. The assessment area of the school field is strictly divided according to the level of strength. There are very few people in the third-class soldier assessment area. After all, it is only for beginners. Many people can achieve it at the beginning. There are more people in the second-class soldier assessment area. After a period of training, many people can have such strength. As for the first-class soldier assessment area, this cannot be achieved by training alone, it also requires talent. Therefore, this area is the least populated. Gale's actions at this time naturally attracted attention. Even Beibo, who was worried and came here specially, couldn't help but be surprised by Haifeng's actions. This guy actually wants to directly participate in the second-class soldier assessment? Good. Gale nodded and came to the second-class soldier examination area. Facing everyone's eyes, he didn't care, but looked directly at the examiner of the second-class soldier. There are 3 examiners for the second-class soldiers, and the requirements and content are twice as difficult as those for the third-class soldiers. In principle, you are not prohibited from such behavior, but I still want to tell you that if you are not sure enough, don't try it lightly, otherwise you will be easily injured. Seeing Gale in front of them, the 3 examiners looked at each other and said, "The Navy does not have a rule that prohibits consecutive promotions, but third-class soldiers and second-class soldiers are 2 different concepts. If you don't have enough strength, you will be easily injured. After all, the requirement for the second-class soldier assessment is to break a wooden pile twice as thick after reaching 20 strength. You have to think about it clearly. Although the thickness of the stake is only doubled, the strength is not as simple as 1 plus 1. Don't be weak enough, and you will hurt yourself instead. It's best for newcomers to do what they can, and don't aim too high." Everyone around also kindly reminded Gale. After all, there has been such a precedent in the Navy. Hale, you have to think clearly. Even Beibo also quickly opened his mouth. He was also shocked by Haifeng's behavior. He thought he was just participating in a third-class soldier assessment. The strength that Haifeng showed yesterday was naturally not a problem, but he didn't expect that Haifeng was not satisfied with this. "I see." Haifeng nodded, and after getting permission, he punched the wooden stake twice as thick in front of him. Crack! Without any accident, the stake was easily punched through by him. Although he is only a primary immortal body, his strength is far beyond that of ordinary people. Breakthrough! That's amazing. Is this really a newcomer? My God, is there going to be a genius? Seeing this scene, everyone around couldn't help but gasped. Hey, actually did it. What? Beibo couldn't help being dumbfounded. This guy. Hidden. What he showed yesterday was not his full strength. Huafeng? You are very good. I wonder if you are interested in participating in the first-class private assessment. At the same time, the 3 examiners were also full of astonishment. Apparently they didn't expect that Haifeng actually passed, and one of them even took the initiative to speak. He just saw that Gale Feng didn't seem to use his full strength. Of course. The wind nodded. Since he came for the assessment, he would naturally not be satisfied with a simple second-class soldier. Private class examination. Hearing these 5 words, all the sailors were shocked. First-class soldiers are already considered the pinnacle of Shanghai soldiers, and then they are lieutenants. This level requires military merit in addition to strength. This is achieved by fighting to the death, which is beyond the imagination of ordinary sailors. If they heard Hai Feng's words before, they would definitely dismiss them. But at this time, Hai Feng has shown its great strength. At this time, who would dare to underestimate it? In the Navy, strength is the most important thing. You bastard! Bei Bo was completely speechless, and he suddenly realized that he underestimated Gale Wind too much. With such a character, he actually just let him be a miscellaneous soldier? No wonder Hai Feng made a hole in the wall and took the initiative to find him. Whoever it is, I'm afraid it will be like this. The assessment of the first-class soldier is very simple. It is still a test of strength. As long as you can break this stone wall, you will pass. At this time, Gale had arrived at the examination area of the private first class. The examiner pointed to the erected walls in the assessment area. The thickness is the same as the wooden posts of the third class, but one is wood and the other is stone. Hardness is not a concept at all. Chapter 4. Jiao Feng, don't force yourself, this is a stone wall. Seeing this, Bei Bo hurried forward. It is extremely difficult to shake the incomparably hard stone wall with flesh and blood, let alone break it. Once it fails, the arm will be useless. That's right, the wooden stake can't be broken, it means a slight injury, at most a broken bone. Everyone around also nodded. The assessment gap between a second-class soldier and a first-class soldier is completely 2 concepts. There is still room for second-class soldiers, and first-class soldiers are either dead or injured. If you are not fully sure, I suggest you give up temporarily, or you can try it first before making a decision. Even the examiners, they all kindly persuaded them. He really did it out of kindness. After all, a sea soldier who can advance to 2 ranks in a row is already considered to be extremely talented. This kind of talent is exactly what the Navy needs most at present. The reason why I proposed it was because I saw that Hai Feng still had more energy during the assessment just now. No need. Hearing this, Gai Feng shook his head, declined their kindness, and looked at the stone wall in front of him that was as thick as a finger. The difficulty is indeed several times higher than that of the previous wooden piles. Those who can possess this kind of power are already the elite of the elite. But with the power of his primary immortal body, it's not a problem. Seeing that Hai Feng had made up his mind, the examiner nodded and stopped persuading him. At the same time, he is also very curious, can Hai Feng really do it? If you can, you will be promoted to the 4th rank, directly promoted from a handyman to a first-class soldier. This kind of character is already considered a genius. Not only him, but all the sailors around were also looking forward to it. Can Hai Feng really achieve the miracle of being promoted to the 4th level? If it can, it will be of great importance to the entire G3 branch. At this time, Gai Feng looked at the stone wall in front of him, slowly raised his left hand in front of his chest, and clenched it into a fist. Then the figure bent backwards, and the whole person was drawn into a bow shape from head to toe, like a strong bow with full strings, and the left fist was the crossbow ready to be fired. One punch. Crack. Without any suspense, the stone wall in front of him was instantly smashed into scum like tofu. Not only did he shatter the stone wall with one punch, but the powerful force also shook the stone wall into dregs. This power has completely reached the peak level of a first-class soldier. It is good. Seeing this scene, the crowd suddenly cheered. It's amazing. I've been promoted to the 4th rank. Among my G3 Marines, there's a genius out there. I didn't expect him to actually do it, incredible, incredible. Is it Gale? The examiner in front of him also nodded immediately. After checking the broken stone wall, he nodded. Congratulations, you are now a private first class. Then he continued. Not only that, but Lord Bogart will know about this matter, and even Lieutenant General Garp may pay attention to you. The private first class is already the pinnacle of the sea soldiers and belongs to the elite series. Whether it is status or treatment, it will be different. This kind of existence is already qualified to enter the high-level attention. Lord Bogart. He has the qualifications and strength. Hearing this, the sea soldiers who cheered all around couldn't help looking over with envy. It is a great honor to be followed by a big shot. You can even ascend to the sky in one step. You're a private first class now. Beibo let out a long breath and looked at Gale in front of him with a complicated expression. There are first-class soldiers in the area under his jurisdiction, especially the existence of Hai Feng who has been promoted to the 4th rank. There is no doubt that he will also be rewarded. But what made him feel complicated was that he actually missed it. He actually let Gai Feng with such strength be a miscellaneous soldier for a month, he was really blind. But now, the status of the two is completely reversed. In the future, he will have to adjust his position in front of the blast. Ah! Hearing this, Hai Feng nodded. The treatment, status, and resources available to a private first class are naturally no small matter. Especially for someone like him who has been promoted to the 4th level in a row, he can already be treated as a genius. It's only a matter of time before someone pays attention to it. But he wasn't satisfied. If it weren't for becoming a lieutenant, in addition to strength, he also needed military exploits, and he would be promoted immediately without hesitation. The Navy has its own strict promotion system, and he can only go so far at the moment. Then it's the process. His information, identity, information, and assessment results will all be entered into the Navy system. It took a full day before he officially became a private first class. At this time, the news that Hai Feng was promoted to the 4th rank in a day, and he became a first-class soldier from a handyman quickly spread throughout the entire G3 base. After all, in the army, news is transmitted extremely quickly, especially for a person like Hai Feng who has been promoted to the 4th rank and is called a genius. Suddenly the whole base vibrated. A miscellaneous soldier, who has been promoted to the 4th rank, is he a genius? Who is this guy called Gale? It is said that he was originally a villager on a nearby island. Because the village was destroyed by pirates, he joined the navy in order to get revenge. At first, he was unremarkable, just a random soldier. Later, he showed his strength and became a blockbuster. My G3 Navy has produced a genius. At the beginning, many people had never heard of the name of Hai Feng, but when someone popularized it, they knew it immediately, and they couldn't help being amazed. This is genius. From a miscellaneous soldier to a first-class soldier at one time. At this time, the room where Garp is. Garp was lying on a recliner by the window, boogering and enjoying the sunlight coming in from the window, while Bogart was reporting to him what was going on in the base. Especially last night's anomaly. It's a pity that Garp didn't seem to care much, he was still boogering and basking in the sun. At this time, the examiner in charge of the blast assessment came to report. After all, there are people like Hai Feng in the sea soldiers, and they are already qualified to attract the attention of high-level officials. Hearing this, Garp turned his head, interested. Among his subordinates, such a genius appeared? Blast? Is it that miscellaneous soldier? When Bogart saw the picture of Hai Feng, he couldn't help squinting his eyes. He just saw Blast yesterday, although he didn't pay attention to it, he finally got a glimpse of it. He didn't expect to be promoted to a first-class soldier the next day. This person is really not simple. Have you seen? Hearing this, Garp looked at Bogart. That's it. Bogart nodded and told what happened yesterday. Interesting, such a person actually appeared among the old man's subordinates. Immediately send him a mission to exterminate the nearby pirates alone. Hearing this, Garp immediately ordered. Lieutenant General Garp, he has only been promoted for less than a day, and you send such a mission, isn't it a bit too hasty? Hearing this, the examiner couldn't help being surprised. It was Bogart, who frowned slightly. Mr. Garp, he has just been promoted to a private first class, and has no combat experience. The promotion assessment below the lieutenant officer is just a pure strength assessment. As long as the strength is reached, it is considered qualified. Especially Hai Feng, who has only joined the Navy for a month and has no combat experience, so he is sent to participate in the mission of exterminating pirates? And still alone. Only Garp can make such a decision. Isn't genius just for training? Sure enough, Garp didn't care about what the two said. Chapter 5. Let me go alone to destroy a group of pirates entrenched on the nearby island. Early the next morning, Hai Feng received such a task order. And it was Garp who ordered it himself. As expected of Lu Fei's grandfather, this brain circuit is really... Gale could not help but sigh. According to normal logic, although the first-class soldier already has extremely strong combat power, he is the backbone and can play a very important role when facing pirates. But like him, who only joined for a month, he was sent a task to exterminate pirates alone, which is simply beyond the imagination of ordinary people. Even if you are a genius, you should hone your skills before starting to perform tasks. But Cap does just that. Navy internal assessment and actual combat are two very different concepts. But when he suddenly thought of Garp's unique training methods such as throwing the 7-year-old Luffy into the abyss, exiled alone in the rainforest at night, tied to a balloon and released into the sky, he was relieved. Luffy's family must not think with normal people's thinking, otherwise you will burst into tears. Yes, you can act now. The sea soldier who informed Hai Feng left record pointers and explained some things, and after giving Hai Feng some information, he left directly. Seeing this, Gai Feng couldn't help being speechless, but quickly calmed down and looked at the task. It's very simple, just to clean up some pirates, and with his current strength, it's no problem at all. Now simply pack up and prepare to leave. However, when he came to the starting point and saw the small boat that was docked at the base and prepared for him to sail the sea and arrive at the destination, which could only accommodate one person, he couldn't help jumping up. Hey, even if I'm allowed to finish it alone, I'll be sent somewhere anyway. What does that mean? Give me a boat, and forget about everything else. He knew that he was going to perform the mission alone, but he didn't expect that he would sail the boat himself to the places he went. He is a road idiot. Even if he knows the relevant information and gives him the record pointer, he already knows where the place is, how to get there, and how to do it. But no one took him with him, let him drift on the vast sea alone, who knows how long he will drift. And this is a great route, the weather is unpredictable, who knows what will happen. Just relying on this small boat, a slightly larger wave will capsize the boat. No matter how special Garp treats geniuses, there is no need to do so. However, no one responded to him at all. You are vicious. Seeing this, Gale couldn't help being speechless. I had no choice but to board the ship. Now that he has accepted the mission, there is no way out. No matter how difficult it is, you have to do it. Cap room. Garp is still in a lazy state while flicking his booger and basking in the sun, but this time he changed his position and posture so that he can just see the gust of wind below. Hailstorm? It's been a long time since the old man has such a genius, don't let me down. After seeing the movement below, Garp seemed to be talking to Gale, and seemed to be muttering to himself. At this moment, he was the only one in Nyo's big room, and Bogart, who had always been inseparable by his side, rarely disappeared. Master Bogart, Mr. Garp is joking, right? We just follow from a distance, so we don't need to do anything if anything happens. Even if it's special care for geniuses, it doesn't need to be done to this level. At the same time, somewhere in the base, on a small warship, the sailor who had previously notified the Gale mission was watching the departing Gale with binoculars. After seeing Gale on board, he couldn't help but look at Bogart aside. Such a genius has not appeared in the G3 Navy for a long time, so when he appeared, Garp immediately became interested and prepared a special test for him. Of course, he wouldn't really let a rookie like Hai Feng complete this kind of task alone, after all, this is the Great Route. Therefore, Bogart was sent to follow secretly, but he confessed that no matter what difficulties Gale encountered, they were not allowed to intervene, as long as they promised not to die. They just checked it out by the way just in case. Hearing this, Bogart didn't speak, but looked at the wind that was gradually leaving, with a trace of expectation on his face. Because since Garp's grandson left, he has rarely seen Garp so interested in a person. Besides, he also wanted to see how far Gale could go. Genius? There is no shortage of geniuses in this world. What the hell, I walked in the direction of the record pointer for half a day. Even if the speed of the ship is very slow, at least it should have left the base. Why did it go back to the original place? And it's the 9th time, yes, is there a problem with currents? At this time, after half a day of sailing alone, Hai Feng saw that he drove back to the place where he started out for no reason, and couldn't help being a little crazy. After getting on the boat, he sailed in the direction of the recorded pointer, and he was sure that he had not changed direction along the way, and was driving in a straight line. However, the strange thing was that after a while, the boat always returned to the same place by itself inexplicably. What happened? Hey, Master Bogart, what the hell is he doing? Why has he been going back and forth in the same place for half a day? At the same time, on a certain small warship, the sailor who informed the Gale mission couldn't help but be speechless. Half a day has passed since Gale started to act. However, when he used the binoculars to see that the blast was going away, and he was about to act immediately, he saw that the blast turned back, so he had to hide again in a hurry. At first, he thought that Hai Feng had forgotten something, so he came back. But it was the 9th time he had repeated this in a row, and he sensed something was wrong. Even if you forget something, you don't need to repeat it over and over again, let's go back again and again. His eyes are sore. He must have lost his way. Hearing this, Bogart's face flashed a strange look, and he said. At the beginning, he was the same. He couldn't understand the actions of the blast, and didn't understand what the blast meant. But later, based on years of experience, he gradually reacted. Hey, it is lost. What? Hearing this, the sea soldier in front of him was stunned. Gale Feng turned back again and again, because he got lost. Ha 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 ha, what an interesting little guy. Meanwhile, Cap Room. He also realized that Hai Feng was lost. That's why it repeats, and it keeps spinning in place for most of the day. However, he didn't intend to intervene at all, but instead looked forward to Hai Feng's next move. If you get lost, what will you do next? Forget it, abandon ship. At this time, when he returned to the same place for the 10th time, Gai Feng shook his head, decisively chose to abandon the ship, and jumped directly into the sea. Choose to travel to your destination. After getting lost 10 times in a row, he gradually understood a little bit. When sailing on the sea, the current is very important, especially the current on the Great Route is very weird. Even if there is a record pointer to indicate the direction, it is useless if you don't know a little bit of navigation. As a result, he was spinning around like he was just now. Instead, it is better to choose the way of swimming, because people are in the sea and are less affected by the current. It's not too far away anyway. 40 or 50 kilometers. If sailing, never mind. Ships will drag him down. Jumped off, what is he going to do? Could it be that he plans to swim directly there? At the same time as the wind jumped into the sea, the two people on the warship immediately saw it and couldn't help being surprised. Hai Feng actually abandoned the ship? But he reacted quickly. Haifeng is a different way. What? Swim over. Hearing this, Bogart quickly looked over, and immediately saw the gust of wind entering the sea, and he really started to swim, with a look of shock on his face. For the first time, the adjutant next to Garp had a change of mood. As expected of the genius that this old man likes, I like it. Garp also saw this scene and couldn't help grinning. Chapter 6. Ding! You took a swim and gained 100*100 experience points. Ding! You took a swim and gained 100*100 experience points. Ding! Get the body of an intermediate fairy. At this time, Gale was swimming in the direction indicated by the recording pointer. Although the speed was very slow, it was much less affected by the current and the direction was more accurate. Soon out of the base. At the same time, as he swam all the way, the sound of the system kept ringing. Immediately after leaving the base, the immortal body has been upgraded. The system is really powerful. In this way, when I swim to the destination, I'm afraid I will be directly promoted to a high-level fairy body. Feeling the increased strength in his body, Haifeng was ecstatic. The primary immortal body has given him the power to surpass the peak of the first-class soldier, and the intermediate immortal body can at least reach the rank of lieutenant, or even stronger. And besides that, the body's reaction speed and perception of the surroundings have also become stronger. Okay, let's go all out and upgrade to a high-level fairy body. Thinking of this, he suddenly became excited, locked his direction, and swam at a faster speed. At this time, not long after Gale left, Bogart and Hai Bingbo also started to act. Bo is a navigator, responsible for the course, while observing the gust of wind, keeping a distance from being discovered. Bogart is at the helm. However, the speed of the two sailing was extremely slow. From a distance, it looks like a sea turtle. In order to adapt to sea operations, warships have always been light and fast, especially when the two are driving small warships. Now the speed is slowing down, and it is very uncomfortable along the way. Bogart was a little helpless. But there is no way, who made Haifeng choose the way of swimming. His speed suddenly increased. At this moment, Bo suddenly spoke. I don't know what happened, but he found that the speed of the blast suddenly increased. Just to my liking. Hearing this, although Bogart also felt strange, he breathed a sigh of relief. If he continued like this, he was afraid that he would go crazy, so he immediately speeded up. As the two of Bogart gradually drove out of the base, it gradually reached noon, and many people gathered around Gale. After all, Haifeng's performance yesterday was so amazing that many people wanted to meet this genius. But to their disappointment, Gale was not there. It was strange at first, where did the blast go? When they found that Gale was nowhere to be seen in the entire base, everyone immediately realized that something was wrong. Hey, it seems to be gone? Soon this matter spread throughout the base, causing great concern. Even the middle floors were shaken by it. After all, Haifeng only showed his genius strength yesterday, and disappeared inexplicably the next day. This is no small matter. And soon, the high level explained this, as a test of genius, Haifeng was sent to perform the task alone. As soon as the news came out, everyone was surprised. Really, Haifeng was actually sent out to perform a mission alone. Are you kidding? He has only joined the Navy for a month. Although he has shown the edge of a genius, he has no actual combat experience at all. Now he is directly performing tasks alone without any experience. Who gave such a stupid order? Not only the sailors, but also the middle-level lieutenants are incredible. Who ordered this? It's too messy. No matter how powerful a genius is, it takes time to grow up, and now he just skips this step and goes directly to the task? Soon, news came out again from the top management, which was an order issued by Garp himself. Hearing this, everyone immediately shut up. Since Garp spoke, they naturally had nothing to say. At the same time, they were all relieved that Garp always liked to make unexpected moves. Although they think it's too fast, it's just what they think. But in this way, Hai Feng might suffer a lot. Because of that special care, it is not so easy to complete. Ding! Obtain a high-level fairy body. Although the climate of the Great Root is unpredictable, the sky is clear and the sea is calm one moment, but the next moment may be covered with dark clouds and the waves are rough. However, Gai Feng was lucky. He didn't encounter such extreme weather all the way, and he didn't encounter any powerful sea beasts. It was surprisingly smooth. Soon, he arrived at the destination, and at the same time, the immortal body was upgraded to a high level. Crow Island is an ordinary small island. This kind of island can be seen everywhere on the Great Root, and according to the information at this time, a group of pirates appeared on Kiluo Island recently, constantly harassing the villagers, and the stationed navy was defeated, so a distress signal was sent out. His task is to clean up this gang of pirates. This kind of task is simply impossible for a rookie like him. It can be seen that as soon as Garp came up, he gave him a strong dose of medicine. Although it's just a group of ordinary pirates, this is a great root. Even ordinary pirates can't be underestimated. However, with my high-level immortal body, it's not a problem to deal with these people, but I can't do this. Gai Feng murmured, and glanced at the sea behind. When the fairy body is promoted to a high level, while his strength increases, his perception also increases several times. When he went to the island, he immediately noticed that there was a warship following far behind, and it seemed that it should have followed for a long time, and it seemed that he didn't want to be discovered by him. He thought for a moment, then reacted. It must have been sent by Garp. As for the purpose, it is probably to protect his safety and prevent him from dying. It is also an assessment. It's not hard to imagine. After all, no matter how hard the medicine is administered, Garp knows how to measure it. But since he has shown the ability of genius, he will naturally not be treated like an ordinary person. That's fine, I can use this opportunity to draw out other abilities. Gale couldn't help but smile. Now that he has shown the power of the immortal body, the next step is to find an opportunity to show the ability of the Chakra Fruit. After all, this is his true strength. Now's your chance. Thinking of this, he went directly to the place where the pirates were entrenched on the island. Hey, look at his direction, he is going straight to the pirates' lair. Does he plan to act alone? Not long after Gale left, Bogart and the others also arrived. Bo used the binoculars to observe the action of Gale, and couldn't help being surprised. Because according to the current direction of Gale, it will directly reach the pirates' lair. What? Hearing this, Bogart couldn't help but frown. Although Hai Feng already has the strength of the peak first-class soldiers, this group of pirates is just a group of small pirates, but it is too reckless to go straight to the opponent's lair like this. It can even be regarded as courting death. After all, he was only a private first class. And without any combat experience. Thinking of this, he and Bo exchanged glances, and immediately started to act. Can't let the wind die. Chapter 7. Excuse me, do you know where those pirates are? At this time, Gale rushed away according to the position on the information. He swore that he was running in one direction, but for some reason, he came to the village in the center of the island inexplicably. The village was empty and there was no one in sight. And there are collapsed and destroyed houses everywhere, which are obviously the masterpieces of those pirates. Finally, he managed to find a villager and asked quickly. What do you want them for? Are you with those pirates? Hearing Hai Feng's words, the villager looked him up and down, and immediately showed a fierce expression on his face, and at the same time took out a weapon in his hand. No, I'm not, I'm the Navy of the G3 branch, and upon receiving your request, I'm here to deal with those pirates. Hearing this, Blast quickly pointed to the Navy uniform he was holding in his hand. After swimming all the way, he was already wet all over his body, so he had to hold his clothes in his hands when he got to the island. Navy. Are you the Navy sent by the G3 branch? Seeing the Navy uniform that was already soaked in Hai Feng's hands, the villager's expression changed wildly, and he immediately became excited, shouting in all directions. The Navy is here, the Navy is here to save us. The next moment, I saw countless villagers rushing out of the room. After seeing the blast, they all became excited. Great, the naval support has finally arrived. Those damned pirates, their end is here. Especially one of them, a middle-aged man in his 40s who was also wearing a Navy uniform, stepped forward excitedly. Has support finally arrived? Where is it? As he spoke, he hurriedly looked behind Gale. However, no one can be seen. Are you the Navy Ford stationed here? No need to look, I'm alone. Seeing this, Gale looked him up and down, and said. What? Just you? Hearing this, Ford's face suddenly sank. What's going on? In terms of intelligence, I wrote it very clearly. There are at least 40 people on the other side. Captain Barley is powerful. Why did you only send you here? And it's just a sea soldier. What? Just sent someone. Look at your uniform, you're just a sailor, right? Why is this happening? Has the Navy abandoned us? At the same time, the surrounding villagers also heard the conversation between the two, and immediately changed from a state of hopeful excitement to despair. It can be described as 1 second of heaven and 1 second of hell. Actually, you don't have to worry. I'm very strong. You just need to tell me where the pirates are, and I'll get rid of them. Seeing everyone's expressions, Hai Feng quickly comforted them. At the same time, I couldn't help being touched in my heart. If he had been forced to join the Navy before, but now seeing the hopeful faces in front of him, he understood. What exactly is justice in the Navy? This is. In order to protect every smiling face on the sea and protect their peace, this is the justice of the Navy. It is his justice. Young sailor, maybe you are very confident in your own strength, but don't underestimate your opponent. I advise you to give up this dangerous idea, otherwise you will pay a heavy price for it. Hearing this, Ford patted Gale on the shoulder and sighed. Although his mood fell to the bottom in an instant, he didn't want Gai Feng to die because of it. Young sailor, forget it, don't die in vain, you still have a long way to go. Before Barley finds you, run away quickly and call more Marines. You alone are definitely not their opponents. They're there, but don't overdo it. The villagers all around shook their heads and sighed, they had given up hope. One of them pointed in one direction and sneered. Is it there? Then I'll come as soon as I go. Hearing this, Gai Feng looked in the direction of one of the villagers' fingers, which was the highest peak on the island. Immediately ran towards the peak. His speed was extremely fast, and everyone fell into despair again at this time. By the time they realized it, Gale had already run away. Hey hey hey! Seeing this, Ford shouted quickly. He didn't want to watch Hai Feng go to die in vain like this. But how could the blast care about it? The villagers all around shouted wildly, but it was useless at all. The one who showed the wind was full of remorse. He didn't expect that Hai Feng would actually go there. Although he is a super road idiot, his character is not bad, but just relying on his blood is not enough. At the same time, when Gai Feng asked for directions and acted immediately, somewhere on the island. Bo saw all this with binoculars and couldn't help chuckling. Although he is very speechless with Gale's road crazy attributes, Gale can actually get lost in a straight line, but seeing the scene before him, he couldn't help but feel relieved. Although he was tortured enough along the way, he was very satisfied with the result. Bogart didn't say anything, just started to act immediately. But don't die. Boy! Is this the stronghold of those pirates? Bar pirates! At this time, After asking for the direction, Gale Feng ran all the way, and soon reached the peak, and saw the place where the group of pirates were. This group of pirates is called the Bar Pirates. The stronghold is a temporary camp built on the peak, surrounded by cliffs, and is extremely simple. From the looks of it, they don't seem to plan to stay here for long, but they won't leave immediately either. And at this time, they were holding a banquet and having fun together. He immediately rushed in. "Hey, who are you?" At the same time as Gale was operating, someone at the door noticed it immediately, and immediately stepped forward to inquire. However, Hai Feng only responded with a punch. Crack! With the strength of his high-level immortal body, how fierce is his punch! Immediately, the pirate flew upside down like a cannonball, smashed 3 walls in a row, and landed in the center of the banquet. Who? An enemy? Who dares to disturb our Captain Barley's banquet? This sudden movement immediately attracted the attention of the entire Bar Pirates, and they burst into laughter immediately. Several of them immediately held weapons and looked fiercely. After seeing the gust of wind, they rushed up immediately. "It's me." After punching the inquiring pirate away, he walked in immediately, and then immediately locked his eyes on a tall, green-haired man sitting in the center, who was eating meat and drinking at the same time. He should be the captain of the Bar Pirates. Bar immediately rushed over. How fast he was! Those who held weapons and locked their eyes on Gale didn't even have time to react. Gale rushed in front of Bar. "Now punch it!" the support called by those idiots. Seeing this, Barley's pupils shrank, and he immediately reacted. "Now punch it out!" After all, he is the captain, and his strength is extraordinary. The moment Gale made a move, he immediately reacted and fought back. Crack! The 2 fists faced each other. Gai Feng let out a scream, and fell directly to the cliff. Not good. At the same time, Bogart's face changed wildly. Chapter 8. Are you late? Bo Yi's expression became extremely ugly. After Hai Feng rushed towards the location of the Bar Pirates, they acted immediately, followed closely behind, and saw Hai Feng make a move, easily knocking a pirate away with 1 punch, and then secretly observed from the sidelines. It seems that with Gale's strength, there may be a slight possibility to complete this task alone. They themselves have the purpose of investigating Gale, so as long as Gale's life is not in danger, the 2 will never make a move. So stand aside. But what I didn't expect was that after Hai Feng punched the pirate at the door, he shot directly at Barley. That's the captain of the Bar Pirates. Although he's just a small pirate, his strength is no small feat. Hai Feng came directly to him. I'm afraid it would be bad. The 2 were ready to stop it immediately. But it's too late. Gale was extremely fast, and immediately passed through the pirates and came directly to Bar. The 2 clashed fist to fist, and Gale was blown off the cliff. Rescue! Seeing this, the 2 of them immediately ignored the group of pirates and started a rescue operation. Gale just fell. If they act immediately, they may be lucky not to die. Okay. At this moment, a strange look flashed across Bar's face when he saw that the punch directly blasted the wind. Although he used a lot of strength in that punch just now, judging by the skill Gai Feng showed just now, it shouldn't be so weak. Is he too strong? As expected of Captain Bar, he killed the enemy with 1 punch. Captain Barley. However, all the pirates around couldn't help reveling after seeing Gale being dealt with by Bar with a punch. They didn't know Barley's weird mood at this time, and they all yelled for Barley. Hearing this, Barley nodded, suppressing the weirdness in his heart. Maybe he was thinking too much. After all, the opponent is just a sea soldier. Then he grinned grinningly, looking in the direction of the village down the mountain. If someone dares to resist my will, it seems that the lesson I have received is not enough. When Gale appeared, he immediately recognized the new face. This village is now ruled by him, and he knows everyone in the village. There is absolutely no such person as Hai Feng. The only explanation is that he is an outsider. Seeing the navy uniform on his body again, he immediately understood what was going on. It must be in the village. Someone sent a distress signal to the navy. They were having a party, but they didn't notice. But it doesn't matter, the people who come are just vulnerable. Immediately he gave the order to go down the mountain immediately. He wants those people to feel his terror again. Okay, that's enough. At this time, under the cliff, on a tree, he nodded in satisfaction after seeing Bogart and Bolieve. Now, he can no longer hide and show his true strength. That punch just now, of course, was intentional, in order to make Bogart, who was secretly following him, think that he fell off a cliff and encountered an accident. And he just took this opportunity to create that he ate the devil fruit by coincidence and possessed the ability of devil fruit. In this way, his true ability can be displayed openly. After all, if he showed this ability from the beginning, it would definitely cause a lot of trouble, even suspicion. His life experience and information have all been investigated clearly. With a strong body, it can be considered as a natural talent, but if it has a fruitful ability, it will definitely arouse suspicion. Now, these problems are solved. Now everything will fall into place. However, he can't act immediately, he has to wait for some time, and then arrange some things. Soon, the two of Bogart came to the forest under the cliff and hurriedly looked for Gale's body. Half a day later, when the two met, their expressions were extremely ugly. Because they have nothing to gain. Are there no bones left? Bo couldn't help but look ugly. Falling from such a high place, is there nothing left of Gale Wind? This highly improbable, the only explanation, he is still alive, but fell into other places. Bogart shook his head, looked up at the cliff, and analyzed. It's also possible that it was affected by some unexpected factors and landed elsewhere. After all, we haven't searched the entire forest yet. Hearing this, Bo's eyes suddenly lit up. This possibility is very high. After all, it is impossible for the two of them to search the entire forest in just half a day. That's right, now you go search immediately, I'll go back and deal with those pirates. Bogart nodded, then looked in the direction of the village. Because of the failure of Operation Gale, those pirates will anger those villagers. After half a day, I'm afraid they have already acted. Of course he can't sit idly by. It is good. Hearing this, Bo nodded, and the two separated immediately. One continues to look for Hai Feng, and the other goes to deal with the pirates. Village. Bar came again with all the pirates, and immediately destroyed them as soon as he got off the mountain. And the degree of damage is even worse than before. Because these people dared to resist him, he wanted to let them know the consequences. Soon, most of the houses were destroyed, and all the villagers were driven to a place and surrounded. Damn it, Bar, you're going too far. Seeing this, Ford immediately looked at Bar and shouted. Although the other villagers were full of anger, who would dare to resist in the face of the weapons in the hands of these pirates and Barley's suffocating strength? Ford? This is the consequence of rebelling against me. Hearing this, Bar sneered, looked at Ford, and the villagers behind Ford. Let me say it again for the last time, we won't stay here for too long, so this time is the final warning. During this time, I don't want to see any rebels appear again. As long as you give everything obediently, we will be safe, or don't blame me for killing you all. Rebels? Could it be the Navy? Damn it, I told him a long time ago, and told him not to die in vain. Now it seems that he was killed, which aroused Barley's anger, and caused us to be angered. Incompetent Navy. Hearing this, all the villagers immediately reacted and angrily reprimanded. They had already advised Hai Feng not to act without authorization, but Hai Feng refused to listen. Well now, he was killed, and they suffered accordingly. What did you do to him? Ford asked quickly. How? I think he should be dead. After all, I can't even take a punch. Hearing this, Bar raised his fist and said in disdain. What? Hearing this, Ford couldn't help being shocked. Is it really dead? The villagers all around trembled. Was killed. Haha, that unlucky guy couldn't even take a punch from our captain, so he was. Seeing this, a pirate immediately stepped forward and sneered, but he shut up immediately after speaking halfway, and then stared fixedly at one direction, with an incredible expression on his face. What happened? Seeing this, the person beside him couldn't help being surprised, and immediately looked in the direction. Suddenly, his body trembled violently, and the exact same expression appeared on his face. Okay. At this moment, the rest of the bar pirates were surprised and looked in the direction of the two. The next moment, the whole body shook wildly, and the same incredible expression appeared on their faces. Seeing this scene, Barley was amazed, and couldn't help but look along. When he saw it clearly, his pupils shrank sharply, and shock appeared on his face, and he said in disbelief. Impossible, are you still alive? The strange expressions of Bar and other pirates immediately caught the attention of Ford and the villagers, and they all looked over at once, and immediately saw the figure of a young man appearing in everyone's sight. Who is it if it's not Hai Feng? Chapter 9. It's the Navy. He's not dead. It's all you, otherwise we wouldn't be like this. Seeing Hai Feng, all the villagers were stunned for a moment, as if they didn't expect that Hai Feng was still alive, but then immediately scolded him angrily. If it wasn't for Gale's recklessness, they wouldn't have been attacked by Bar either. Turn the dilapidated village into ruins. Are you still alive? That's good, but you shouldn't come back, but should take the opportunity to escape. Seeing Gale, Ford breathed a sigh of relief, but shook his head. Since he didn't die by luck, he didn't run away immediately, but came back again. Do you want to die again? Sorry for making the village like this, but don't worry, this time, I'm here to completely eliminate these people. Hearing this, Hai Feng felt ashamed. It was indeed because of him that it caused this. But this kind of thing won't happen again. However, when the pirates in the bar pirates heard Hai-Eight's words, they immediately laughed. Get rid of us? Boy, are you kidding? Since you survived by luck, you didn't run away immediately, but you came back, you are courting death. This time, without Captain Bar, we will kill you. Yes, this time, you will not be so lucky. Saying that, several of the pirates immediately stepped forward, gearing up, and rushed towards the blast. Is it? Seeing this, Gai Feng smiled slightly and clapped his hands together. Chakra circulated, condensed in the mouth, opened the mouth and spit out suddenly, and saw a large group of lightning burst out. Lay done, pseudo-darkness. The electric light shot wildly, condensing into a large thunder spear, which instantly bombarded the several people rushing forward. Zitsizi. These people suddenly screamed, and the whole body was blasted to the ground by thunder, and the ground under their feet couldn't bear the force, and it burst open. When the thunder and lightning dissipated, only a few burnt corpses were left. After all, it is a B-level ninjutsu, powerful, and can kill the enemy in an instant. Gandhi, thunder, Ding Ji. Seeing this, all the pirates in the Barley Pirates couldn't help exclaiming. It was killed in an instant? However, more people were even more surprised by the ability that Hai Feng just showed. What kind of power is this? A thunderbolt spit out of your mouth. Hai Feng actually spit thunder and lightning? It was Bar, all pupils constricted sharply, staring at Gale. An ability user of a devil fruit. This kind of power is obviously not something that normal humans can possess, and it already belongs to supernatural power. He subconsciously thought of devil fruit. On the sea, there is a group of people like this, who have eaten the legendary devil fruit and possessed power beyond imagination. Moreover, there are not a few such characters on the Great Route. It's just that I didn't expect Hai Feng to be a capable person. It wasn't before, but it is now. Hearing this, Gale shrugged. What he said was true, he couldn't use this ability wantonly before, but now, he no longer has any scruples. Even if it's a capable person, it's just one person, everyone goes together. Seeing this, Bar gritted his teeth and drank. Although capable people are powerful, they are not invincible. With so many of them going up together, even if a few of them are killed, others still have a chance. That's right, although the ability user is powerful, if so many of us go up together, we can definitely kill him. Hearing this, all the pirates in the Barley Pirates immediately shouted wildly. They are blood-licking, vicious, and violent pirates, especially on this great route, there are not uncommon people with abilities. Although it is indeed very powerful, as Barley said, if they go together, there is definitely a chance. Now everyone rushed up together. Go together? It's useless. Seeing this, Gai Feng sneered and clapped his hands again. The chakra immediately circulated and condensed in the mouth. He took a long and sudden breath, and spit it out at all the pirates rushing up. Fire escape, extinguish the seal with great fire. Immediately, a mass of extremely large and exaggerated flames spewed out immediately. The scope is so wide that all pirates are included. Even Bar, who stood at the end of everyone, was swept in. The flames flew, fell into the crowd, and exploded immediately. Boom boom boom. When the earth shook, a super big pit with a radius of -meters appeared. All the pirates in the Bar Pirates lay down on the floor together. Even Captain Bar, trembling, knelt on the ground. Finally, he lay down with a face full of unwillingness. All killed. Seeing this scene, the villagers around were dumbfounded. All the members of the Bar Pirates, who were so powerful that they were tortured so much, were killed just like this? And the person who killed them was actually the sailor they looked down upon, and even a little hated? He actually has this kind of power? Even Captain Bar was defeated, it's too powerful. Ford glanced at Barley who was also lying in the pit, and couldn't help looking at Gale with a shocked face. This sea soldier is actually so powerful. No wonder the Navy just sent him alone, it was totally enough. Can you help me send these people to the ship? I want to take them back. At this time, Hai Feng looked at the crowd with some embarrassment. This group of people was successfully killed, but they can't stay here. He has to take these people back to accept justice. As for the ship, he can commandeer the ship of this group of pirates, but it is difficult for him to bring all these people on board. After all, he was alone, and his sense of direction was not very good. He might not be able to finish this task on the second day, or even the third day. Okay, no problem. Hearing this, everyone immediately looked at Gale with respect and nodded. On the sea, respect the strong. No matter what kind of justice the Navy upholds, only with strength can there be justice and respect. That's it for the current blast. When he said that he was in the Navy before, and he was alone, everyone was a little bit hated and angry, but now, there is only respect. When Gai Feng gave an order, no one dared to be negligent in the slightest, and immediately acted. Ford also immediately led people to bring the Bar Pirates ship. Became a devil fruit user? Did it happen after falling off the cliff? At this time, when Hai Feng eliminated everyone in the Bar Pirates and mobilized the villagers to help, Bogart was very surprised to watch from the sidelines. He arrived not long after the blast arrived. Of course he will not forget these pirates, and now he is returning to get rid of these people. However, he couldn't help being surprised when he saw that Hai Feng was not dead. But he stopped immediately and found a place to hide. The current gale, it seems that the strength has increased a lot. But this time, he would naturally not make the same mistake as before. He locked his eyes on Bar, and he was on guard, ready to make a move at any time. But the scene that stunned him happened. Facing this group of pirates again, Hai Feng actually displayed the ability of lightning and flame, and showed extremely powerful destructive power. This is obviously not the power that normal people can possess. It's a devil fruit. Gale has become a devil fruit ability user. He subconsciously thought that in that forest, it must be at that time that Haifeng accidentally became a capable person. But he couldn't judge. After all, he didn't know what happened to Haifeng at that time. And whether it's good or bad, no one can tell. Devil fruit has the benefits of devil fruit, which can make people quickly have power beyond ordinary people's imagination, but the disadvantage is also obvious, that is, they will become landlubbers. This is not a good thing for the navy that survives on the sea. After seeing that Haifeng had successfully completed the task, he thought about it and left immediately. Bo Huan was struggling to find Gale in that forest, so he had to tell. Otherwise, he is afraid that he will find death, and he will not find even a single hair of Haifeng. Thank you for your help. After a lot of busy work, Haifeng successfully moved everyone in the bar pirates to the ship, and then thanked everyone. If it weren't for them, he would have taken a long time to complete this matter. Chapter 10. After bidding farewell to everyone, Haifeng took the helm himself, and sailed away according to the direction of the recorded pointer. However, not long after the voyage, he looked at the sea in front of him with a dazed expression on his face. At the beginning, the ship could still keep the correct course, but after a period of sea current, it began to deviate. He adjusted immediately, but the sea current of the great route was too weird and always changed. Even if he had a recording pointer, he could not. I was also confused. Now he's lost. I can't tell the direction at all. Sure enough, if you want to sail on the sea, you can't do it alone. Gale could not help but sigh. Now he has personally experienced it. In the sea, no matter how strong a person is, he can't survive alone. At least one navigator is needed. Then he looked at the entire hull. Gotta figure out a way. He can't just keep spinning in circles. However, the method seems to be the same as when he came, by swimming. But when his eyes fell on the hull and he looked it over carefully, he immediately rejected this idea. The weight of this ship was at least tens of tons. With his current strength, he couldn't even push it, and he was still swimming. Totally impossible. But when he saw the barley pirates on board, he immediately had a solution. Immediately wake up the captain bar, ask who knows about sailing, and then knock him out. Finally, I found the only pirate who knew how to sail. At first, the other party naturally refused, but under the friendly education of Hay-8, he had no choice but to agree with his face bruised and swollen. Then he drove himself and led the bar pirates. Everyone, go to Naval Base G3. Let the pirates drive their own boat to the base, this kind of thing, only this guy can do it. On a warship in the distance. Bo watched this scene with binoculars and couldn't help but be speechless. Bogart soon found him in the forest and told him something about Hay-8. Hearing this, although he was surprised that Haifeng became a devil fruit capable user, he quickly accepted it. After all, in the sea, there are not a few such capable people, and it can only be said that Gaifeng became a capable person, which can only be said to be luck. What surprised him was Gale's luck. But in this case, it will become a landlubber. Both pros and cons. Then the two immediately went to Haifeng again, and saw that with the help of the villagers, Haifeng moved all the pirates of the bar pirates to the boat, and then drove away by himself. Seeing this scene, the two quickly followed. Haifeng is a road idiot, so if he leaves like this, isn't he afraid of getting lost? Sure enough, the blast didn't sail very far, and he got lost immediately. Even if he has a record pointer, it's useless. The two shook their heads at the moment, and Bogart was about to show up in person. Now that the mission was over, there was no need for them to hide anymore. They had to go through the painful experience of following Gale again. However, at this moment, Gale suddenly woke up the Captain Barley. After asking some questions, he stunned him again, and then woke up another person. Through coercion and temptation, he finally persuaded this person to take the helm and sail towards the sea, sailing in the direction of the G3 naval base. Seeing this scene, the two immediately understood that Haifeng was looking for the navigator. He doesn't know how to sail, but there are so many pirates on board, there is always one who knows. Wake up the captain bar immediately, after asking clearly, knock out again, and find the navigator. After a period of education, this navigator has obviously chosen to give in. Now sail. It's just that looking for a navigator among the pirates, and then letting him sail to the naval base, I'm afraid only Haifeng can do it. Bogart was speechless. Bogart didn't speak, but a smile flashed in his eyes. Hey, ain't this guy? At this time, with the precise steering of the navigator, the speed of sailing was obviously much faster, and soon, the shadow of the G3 base was seen. At the same time, the G3 base. As soon as Haifeng and the others approached, they were immediately discovered. And after seeing the pirate flag of the bar pirates on the ship, he immediately issued an alarm that there were pirates approaching. However, the alarm was immediately stopped by Garp, because he had already received a report from Bogart. On board, it's Gale. I actually became a devil fruit user. Life is really unpredictable. Hearing Bogart's report, Garp couldn't help laughing. He asked Haifeng to complete the task alone, who knew that after returning, he would become a devil fruit capable user. What? Mr. Garp personally ordered that the other party bring the boat in without blocking it. Hearing the news from above, the sailors who found the bar pirates couldn't help but be surprised. Actually let the pirate ship drive into the base? And it was Garp's own order? As a navy, shouldn't they sink the pirate ship immediately? Not only him, but other sailors around were also surprised. What's going on? However, the higher UPS ordered, although they were puzzled, they still carried out immediately. Soon, when the ship of the bar pirates approached, they saw Gale standing on the bow of the ship and the group of pirates who were tied up behind Gale. Everyone was stunned. The ship is actually Gale. No wonder Garp wants to press the alarm. That's the ship of the bar pirates. The boat is naturally the pirates of the bar pirates. Could it be that Hay-8 killed them all by himself? No way, this is the bar pirates. This group of pirates has some strength. How can Haifeng do it alone? Hail, did you do this alone? Seeing this scene, everyone was puzzled. Someone recognized the bar pirates. I can't believe Haifeng did it by himself. Immediately asked the blast. After receiving Haifeng's affirmative answer, everyone was shocked. It was really Haifeng who did it alone. My god, Hay-8 killed the bar pirates by himself. Just kidding. In this case, his mission is completed. It's amazing, is this the strength of a genius? At the same time, Hay-8 returned after completing the mission, and the news that one person killed the bar pirates quickly spread in the base, and the whole base boiled again. Not long after Haifeng left, Garp personally ordered that special care be given to him, and word spread throughout the base. As soon as the news came out, it immediately caused quite a commotion. Haifeng is only a first-class soldier, and he is the one who has just been promoted. He has not participated in any battles and has no experience. He is actually asked to go directly to perform tasks alone? Isn't this going to die? Although soon knowing that this was Garp's order, everyone was relieved. After all, he is such a big man, and he always does things unexpectedly. With this decision, it's normal. But many people are still not optimistic about it. The time for Haifeng to grow is too short, even a genius must have time to practice. This kind of direct execution of the task, what is it if it is not death? But now, he actually did it. One person killed the entire Barley Pirates and completed the mission. Triumphant return. It's unbelievable. If it wasn't for the news from Bogart, I thought I would have completed this mission with 2 people. I didn't expect to kill the entire Bar Pirates alone. Although the Bar Pirates are just a group of small pirates, Captain Barr is not weak, and Gale was able to kill him. It seems that his strength and potential are far beyond our imagination. And all the high-level officials have already confirmed what happened with Bogart, and they were all shocked. Hey, it is really done. At this moment, Hai Feng had returned to the base, and as soon as it landed, someone responded immediately and took everyone in the bar pirates away. And after he disembarked, he was taken directly to Garp's room, and Garp wanted to meet him in person. Chapter 11. Does Garp want to see me in person? Hearing this, Hai Feng immediately had an ominous premonition in his heart, and intuitively felt that it might not be a good thing. If it was someone else, it might not feel this way. But Garp, he didn't believe it would be so simple. As Lu Fei's grandfather, this one often does not take the usual path. Before, he was given a boat to cross the sea and go on a mission alone. This time, who knows what surprise he has prepared. Never be careless. Thinking of this, he quietly left the imprint of the Flying Thunder God spell around him. Also be prepared to jump at any time. Soon, led by the sailors in front, he came to Garp's room. However, as soon as he opened the door, he immediately saw a fist zooming in front of his eyes, zooming in, and finally filling his whole mind, hitting violently. The opponent's attack was extremely fast, and it was at the moment when the door was just opened. Even if he had prepared in advance and reacted immediately, his body had no time to form a seal. Immediately cast the Flying Thunder God technique and fly away in an instant. SHH. Immediately, he saw that he disappeared in place without any warning. What? At the same time, a voice full of surprise, and inconceivable sounded. Immediately afterwards, a tall, broad-chested, muscular old man flew out of the room wearing a cloak of justice. That sudden punch was his masterpiece. It's a pity that it was empty. After punching nothing, his body immediately flew to the opposite wall. Boom! There was a shocking sound, and a huge human-shaped pothole appeared on the wall. And who is this person, if not Garp? This Lieutenant General actually made a sneak attack at the moment Gale Feng opened the door. Who would have thought of such a thing? Actually avoided Mr. Garp's punch. It's unbelievable that such a thing would happen. Simultaneously, in Garp's room, a group of Marines flooded out in an instant. Look at the rank, all lieutenants. The worst is the lieutenant. A group of lieutenants actually gathered in Garp's room, and the moment Gale opened the door, he shot in front of them. The style of this Lieutenant General is completely beyond everyone's expectations. But what was even more unexpected was that Hai Feng actually escaped his inevitable blow. As expected of Garp's style, fortunately I made preparations in advance, otherwise this punch will be very bad. At the same time, Gale turned out from one side, looking at the scene in front of him, he was grateful. Even if he was punched by Garp, I'm afraid it would be very bad. Blast! Seeing Gale appear again, the faces of the lieutenants changed wildly. He actually escaped Garp's inevitable blow just now, you know, none of them have such confidence. And they didn't even see how the blast moved. Hailstorm? As expected, you are the person that the old man is looking for, and you can actually avoid the old man's blow under such circumstances. I have decided to promote you to lieutenant directly. At this time, Garp had already come down from the wall, saw Gale, and announced directly. To directly promote Gale to the rank of lieutenant. Counting the time that Hai Feng worked as a handyman, in just 1 month, Hai Feng was promoted from a handyman to a lieutenant, a full 7 ranks. This speed is like riding a rocket. Mr. Garp, although Gale dodged your blow, it's too fast to go up 3 levels all at once. Mr. Garp, to be promoted to lieutenant officer, you need to report to the Navy headquarters. You are so messed up. Hearing this, the lieutenants couldn't help being surprised. In the Navy branch, the limit of the rank that the Navy can promote is the sergeant. If you go up to the lieutenant, you need to report to the Navy headquarters. After Hai Feng came back, Garp suddenly called them over and gathered in a room. He thought he had some mission to perform, but he unexpectedly announced that Hai Feng was promoted to lieutenant in front of them. Although surprised by Garp's sudden decision, they immediately understood Garp's real intention. In the Navy, there are 3 grades of corporal, sergeant, and sergeant from private first class to lieutenant. Every level of promotion requires a lot of military exploits, and the lieutenant level needs to be reported to the Navy headquarters. They are all experienced in hundreds of battles and have come step by step. Garp announced in front of them that the purpose of upgrading to the same level as them couldn't be more obvious. Just to stimulate them. Make them dissatisfied, even shoot. At the same time, it also creates opportunities for the blast. Really? Hai Feng, they don't seem to agree with the old man. Seeing this, Garp couldn't help picking his nose, and looked at Gale, with a headache on his face. But Gale caught the smile in his eyes. Obviously, all of this was deliberately arranged by him. As for what the purpose is, he probably can understand. It's another assessment. He didn't care whether he had just returned from a mission, whether he was injured, or what the situation was, it was just a continuous test, and he didn't give him any time to breathe. Of course, he can give up, but once he gives up, it means that he has failed the assessment, and the chance to advance to the 3rd level is gone. As for the future, it depends on God's will. Thinking about the fact that Kibi and Belumbo, following Garp's men, were able to be promoted from handyman to lieutenant of the Navy headquarters in just 2 years, Hai was relieved. For geniuses, Garp has his own unique training method. Thinking of this, Hai Feng looked at the lieutenants in front of him and stretched out his hand. Although he didn't speak, the meaning couldn't be more obvious. Agree with Garp's proposal. Immediately, the lieutenants looked at Gai Feng in a different way. It's really arrogant, Gale. Don't think that you can do whatever you want if you solve the bar pirates alone, everyone here has this ability. Everyone sneered, looked at Hai Feng, and looked at Garp aside. Of these 2 people, one really dared to speak, and the other really dared to agree. Neither are fuel-efficient lamps. Mr. Garp, if I defeat them all, can I be directly promoted to captain? However, at this moment, Gale spoke again. The words are not amazing and die endlessly. He was not satisfied with Garp's proposal to be promoted to lieutenant officer, and he actually wanted to be promoted directly to captain. If this is the case, he will be promoted to the 6th rank. It's only 1 step away from the major. Stop talking about it, Gale. However, before Garp could answer, one of the lieutenants rushed forward upon hearing Hai Feng's words. He really can't listen. I saw him gliding and punching, and when he made a move, it was an extremely fierce punch. The strength and speed of a lieutenant-level officer are far from comparable to that of a private first class. Hai Feng will definitely suffer this time. However, at the next moment, before he rushed to the front of the blast, before he saw him make a move, the lieutenants who started to shout loudly, and before Garp could answer, the blast appeared in front of him in an instant with a stretch of his body. Punch out! Boom! The lieutenant was immediately punched to the ground hard. The ground was directly hit and collapsed. Chapter 12. His current body is a high-level immortal body, and his strength, speed, reaction, and perception are far from comparable to before. The lieutenant level may have very powerful power, but how can he be his opponent? How is this possible? Seeing that Gai Feng easily dealt with the lieutenant who shot with a single blow, the faces of the people facing him immediately turned ugly. Although the lieutenant who attacked Gale was only at the level of a lieutenant, his strength was no small feat, and Gale was defeated so easily. Is Gale's strength already so strong? Thinking of this, all of them suddenly looked solemn, without any contempt on their faces. The current Gale has shown a strength that they have to pay attention to. Are you serious? But unfortunately, it's too late. Seeing this, Gai Feng sneered and clapped his hands immediately. When done, crushing. He naturally wants to strike first. Chakra circulates violently, condensing in the mouth. He opened his mouth and spat out violently. Suddenly, a group of level 10 gusts rushed out. The strong wind is like an arrow, and the high-pressure wind ball condensed into a whirlpool, like a heavy artillery shell in a storm, explodes in front of you. All of a sudden, all the lieutenants were covered, and even Garp was brought in together. Immediately, everyone in front of them was swept away by the strong wind and took them away. They are now on the 3rd floor, more than 10 meters above the ground. Gale's attack, with Garp's room as the starting point, until the end of the 3rd floor, the entire floor was bombarded by the wind, and was blown away together. The walls of the entire floor, the windows on the walls, the glass, the coffee table, the water cups, and so on, all burst into pieces as if they had been bombed by shells. From the outside, it looked as if the entire 3rd floor had been blown up. This huge movement immediately attracted the attention of the entire G3 base navy. What happened? What happens? Is it a storm? Immediately, countless sea soldiers came to hear the sound, and all the high-level officials also flocked immediately. I saw Gai Feng standing in front of a pothole on the ground directly below the 3rd floor, with a speechless expression on his face. In the pothole, Garp and a group of lieutenants were lying in it, trembling uncontrollably. Mr. Garp! Seeing this, everyone quickly helped Garp up, while the military doctors went up to check the lieutenant's injury. Hey 8, what's going on? At this time, a high-level person immediately asked Gale. Not only him, but other high-level officials, as well as the surrounding sailors, all looked over. In the scene in front of him, Garp and all the lieutenants fell to the ground, and only Gai Feng remained standing. It was obvious that something had happened. Sorry, the shot was a little too harsh. Hearing this, Hai Feng had nothing to hide, and looked at Garp and the lieutenants apologetically. He underestimated the power of B-level ninjutsu too much. Especially Feng Dun. Feng Dun is already known for its attack power. The C-level Feng Dun can already form a level 5 gale, and the B-level Feng Dun can directly burst into a level 10 gale, and its power has more than doubled. A level 10 gust is already a small natural disaster. When the gust passes by, trees are uprooted and buildings collapse. He used the level 10 wind in a dense space like the 3rd floor, and the result was like this. In particular, his chakra is unlimited, and when he uses it, he is unscrupulous and does not consider consumption. Although he is at B level, his power has already moved closer to A level, so this scene was suddenly caused. Fortunately, he was using it inside. If it was outside, the whole building might be blown down in one fell swoop. B-level ninjutsu has such power. Although these lieutenants already have extremely strong strength, how can they withstand such a powerful storm? What's more, these lieutenants are not as ruthless as he thought, who have mastered the 6th style of the Navy. The 6th form of the Navy is a physical skill that exceeds the limit of the human body's physical strength. It is extremely powerful, but it is obviously not easy for anyone to master. It seems that although Garp has assigned him continuous assessments, the assigned roles are not too perverted. Otherwise, he can only deal with it with the Flying Thunder God technique. What? Did you do this? Hearing Hai Feng's words, all the senior executives gasped. As high-level people, they can basically judge what happened just now through the scenes on the scene, the broken 3 floors, and the surrounding scenes. Especially when they saw Garp on the side, they could even guess that it must be the Lieutenant General who did something exciting again, asking these lieutenants to do something like attack Gale. The results are obvious. But they were not surprised that Garp would have such a move, but they were surprised that Gale had won. These lieutenants are at the middle level of the entire G3 base. With so many people, they are not Gale's opponents? Especially the surrounding scene. How powerful is this genius? And at this time, when Garp stood up holding his head, he looked like he was suffering from a headache. The room he was in was on the 3rd floor, more than 10 meters above the ground. No matter how strong his body was, it was obviously not good for him to be hit by such a powerful storm and fall directly. Hailstorm? You really didn't disappoint the old man, you are now a lieutenant. But when he looked at Gale, he laughed out loud. Although the process was a bit exciting, Gale did not disappoint him. Passed his test. Hearing this, the high-level officials became more convinced of their previous conjectures. Sure enough, Garp made it. At this time, the sailors around also gradually reacted, and they also judged some things that happened around them. At this moment, they heard Garp's words and looked at Gai Feng, and they couldn't help but gasped. Lieutenant, Hai Feng was actually promoted directly to lieutenant. He was originally a first-class soldier, but now he has directly crossed 4 ranks and became a lieutenant. And Master Garp personally ordered it. Is this the difference between geniuses and us? There is an extremely strict system for the promotion of the Navy, and most people need to take one step at a time if they want to be promoted. And Gale is like this, taking off on flat ground. Good guy, he was directly promoted to lieutenant. Garp deserves to be Garp. At the same time, Hai Feng was taken aback when he heard Garp's words. From private first class to lieutenant, he is now promoted 4 ranks in a row. Sure enough, under Garp's command, as long as he shows enough talent, enough strength, and is recognized, he will be promoted completely like a rocket. He joined the Navy just over a month ago, and he was promoted to lieutenant directly. This kind of promotion speed is nothing but a rocket. I'll give you a month to prepare well. After 1 month, follow me to the Navy headquarters. At this time, Garp came over, slapped Gale on the shoulder fiercely, left a word, and left with a big laugh. It is not that simple to advance to 4 levels in a row. During the period, you have to prepare a lot of things, and then you have to report to the Navy headquarters. The promotion of lieutenant rank must be reported to the Navy headquarters. And giving him a month is also to familiarize him with the relevant functions, identity, rights, etc. of the lieutenant. After all, the lieutenant already belongs to the middle-level cadres, and his subordinates command 500 sea soldiers. Go to the Navy headquarters? It seems that in this month's time, I have to raise my strength to another level. However, Hai Feng frowned, how to raise his strength to another level? After all, the naval headquarters is different from the G3 branch. That is the core of the Navy. Anyone who masters the 6 styles of the Navy and can use domineering will be caught. If Garp takes him there himself, it will definitely not be as simple as just reporting. Through the 2 things he experienced, he has already deeply realized Garp's personality. Chapter 13. What? After Hai Feng came back, Mr. Garp conducted another assessment, and Hai Feng defeated more than a dozen lieutenants and was promoted to lieutenant. At this time, Bogart and Bo came back. The 2 of them followed behind Gai Feng, and they were inevitably discovered by Gai Feng, so they kept their distance all the time, hanging behind without haste. After Hai Feng came back, he was called by Garp to take the assessment, and the time before and after was only a short moment. After the 2 came back, they did not expect such a thing to happen. Yuchi couldn't help being surprised when he saw that the 3rd floor where Garp was located seemed to have been blown up. They were not surprised that Garp would do such a thing. They didn't expect Gale to not only catch it, but also cause this level of damage. It seems that Gale's fruit ability is not trivial. Immediately, the 2 found Garp and made a more detailed report. At this time, Hai Feng, after Garp announced that he was a lieutenant, someone took him through the process immediately, so he was familiar with it. And tell him the treatment he has as a lieutenant, the rights, tasks, and responsibilities he needs to perform. Under the command of a lieutenant, he can command 500 sea soldiers. On weekdays, the sailors are also trained. Because Garp personally appointed him, he gave Hai Feng a privilege to let Hai Feng choose the sailors he wanted to bring. Hai Feng didn't even think about it, so he naturally wanted Bei Bo and those people to leave. He had been with these people for a month at least, and they were already familiar with them. It would be more convenient to manage them. After knowing that the lieutenant no longer needs to wear a special navy uniform like a sailor or non-commissioned officer, and can match and dress as he likes, he immediately asked someone to customize the flame imperial robe. This is the imperial robe of the 4th Hokage. The theme is white, and the hem is a flame-textured battle robe. He has been coveting it for a long time. Now that he has this opportunity, he naturally does not hesitate. And after he was promoted to a school officer, he would put on the Navy's cloak of justice. The inside is the flame royal robe, and the outside is the Navy justice cloak, which can be described as extremely cool. But it was a pity that he was rejected. The reason was that he was not high enough, and he was not qualified for this kind of treatment at the rank of lieutenant. Moreover, the G3 base does not have people in this area, and no one can make it for him. If you want to do it, you can only go to a nearby island to customize it. Hearing this, Hai Feng couldn't help but feel resentful, so he had to give up, and then ordered people to create kunao. The only weapon that can perfectly display the true power of the Flying Thunder God technique is kunao. This kind of weapon is light and easy to carry around, which is perfect. There was no problem with this request. Hai Feng immediately drew a blueprint for making kunao. This weapon is not difficult to craft. Afterwards, Hai Feng quickly improved his strength through the system, and at the same time became familiar with the relevant functions of the lieutenant. The lieutenant's main job is to lead the sailors under his command to patrol the surrounding waters, ensure the safety of the base, and immediately wipe out the pirates after they are found, and to train in peacetime. This is not difficult. After all, Garp is well known, and generally there are no pirates who don't have eyesight to make troubles nearby, and there are little pirates like the bar pirates. Those people before were not bragging. The lieutenant rank already possessed the ability to deal with pirates of the level of the bar pirates alone. After that, it's daily training. Bibbo and these people are old acquaintances of him, so it is much more convenient to bring them along, especially after he took them to personally wipe out a few groups of pirates. All of them immediately fell in love with him, and Bibbo was also extremely respectful. The former boss, in front of Gale, completely changed his posture at this moment. In the sea, everything is respected by strength. For half a month, Gale spent between patrolling, destroying pirates, and training. Soon he got used to it. At the same time, his strength has also reached a bottleneck in the past half-month of continuous improvement, and he is about to break through. After all, with the help of the system, a breakthrough in strength couldn't be easier. Hey Chakra Fruit ability user. Perfect version, unawakened. Chakra unlimited. God level not seal clap your hands, say whatever you want. Basic 3 body technique gifted by the system. Immortal body. Advanced 9000000/10000000, upgradable. Fire escape, extinguishing seal with great fire, level B 90,000/100000. Water escape, the art of water dragon bullet, level B 90,000/100000. Earth dungeon, Huangchuan swamp, Class B 90,000/100000. Wind escape, crushing damage, level B 90,000/100000. Lightning dungeon, false darkness, Class B 90,000/100000. Art of Flying Thunder God, 180000/10000000 for 1 section. Fruit ability. B level can be upgraded, affected by the level of 5 series of ninjutsu. Very good, it's just 1 step away, and it's upgraded. Hai Feng looked at his attributes with satisfaction. At this moment, Bogart suddenly came in person, saying that Garp had something to do with him. Are you looking for me again? Hearing this, Gai Feng's scalp immediately went numb, and it was definitely not a good thing for Garp to find him. But it is obviously impossible to refuse right now, and Bogart came in person, and he was ready to go with Bogart to see Garp. But he didn't see Garp, but was taken to a remote place by Bogart. And when he got there, Bogart suddenly made a move. Fortunately, Hai Feng was prepared and resisted immediately. The two immediately punched each other, evenly matched. The power in his high-level immortal body is naturally no less than anyone else. However, Bogart is not comparable to those lieutenants before. As an adjutant next to Garp, his strength is naturally unimaginable. Seeing that Hai Feng could react in time and block his power, Bogart was surprised and his body disappeared instantly. Navy 6 Shave. Seeing this, Hai Feng immediately reacted, and the kunal marked with the Flying Thunder God technique immediately flew out, and then jumped directly when Bogart appeared in front of him again in an instant. Okay. Bogart couldn't help being surprised that the blow was missed, as if he didn't expect that Gale could escape his blow. Earth Dungeon, Huangchuan Swamp. However, before he could be surprised, Gai Feng clapped his hands and immediately fought back. I saw that the ground under Bogart's feet immediately turned into a swamp, with muddy feet sinking deep. Although Bogart's shaving is powerful, how can it be as fast as Flying Thunder God? Since the opponent made a move, Hai Feng would naturally not be polite. Anyway, he even did Garp before, so naturally he wouldn't care about a Bogart. So be merciless. Moon's Step. It seemed that he did not expect that the ground under his feet would turn into a swamp. Bogart was slightly distracted, and immediately fell into it. However, he reacted very quickly, and the strength of his feet exploded. Stepping on the moon, he jumped out of the swamp, ran in the air, and rushed towards the gust of wind. Water Escape, the technique of Water Dragon Bomb. Seeing this, Gale slapped his hands again. Suddenly, a water dragon came out of the ground and flew towards Bogart in the air. Iron Block. Bogart was shocked, as if he hadn't thought that Gale could summon a water dragon out of thin air, and he was in the air, so he couldn't dodge at all. Standing in the air at the moment, the muscles of his body bulged like a block of iron, resisting this blow. The water dragon immediately blasted down. Boom! I saw Bogart being blasted to the ground, and the water dragon turned into countless streams at the same time, forming a stream on the ground. Is this the ability of your fruit? After landing, although Bogart was a little embarrassed, he didn't seem to be seriously injured. Obviously, he used iron blocks to defend against Gale's water dragon bomb technique. At that moment, he looked towards Gale and asked. However, what answered him was a large group of thunder and lightning flying towards him. Zitsizi. I saw Hai Feng clapping his hands, and Lei Dian immediately spit out wildly. Lei Dun, pseudo-darkness. I saw a huge cloud of thunder and lightning rushing out and blasting into the underground water flow. Immediately, the water and thunder merged, and Bogart's body immediately turned into an electric water area. The speed of this thunder pass was extremely fast, he just didn't react, his body trembled suddenly, was bombarded by the electric current, and fell into rigidity. But this is not over yet. Seeing that Lei Dun successfully hit the opponent, Gai Feng slapped his hands again and again. Snapped. Wind Dun, crushing. Snapped. Fire Escape, extinguish the seal with great fire. Wind Escape and Fire Escape were cast almost at the same time, the wind took advantage of the fire and the wind merged, and suddenly the terrifying wind and fire blasted towards Bogart. He has been hit by the electric current now, causing his body to become stiff, and when he recovered, the terrifying wind and fire had already descended. This blow must be unavoidable. Armed. Sure enough, facing Gale's next attack, Bogart gave up dodging directly, because he couldn't dodge at all. Moreover, his face could no longer maintain the composure it had before, and it became completely dignified. The next moment, his arm suddenly turned black. Armed arrogance. As if a layer of armor was attached to his whole body, he immediately got rid of the stiffness, and the saber at his waist was pulled out instantly, and he slashed out with a sword. There is no distinction between swords and swords in the world of pirates. I saw a sword chi, and immediately surged out, forcibly cutting through the power of wind and fire in front of me, and after slashing, the sword chi continued to come violently towards the blast. Is the armed color domineering? Seeing this, Hai Feng's heart skipped a beat. Even the armed domineering is used, it seems that Bogart is completely serious and shows all his strength. He was about to use the Flying Thunder God technique to evade, but at this moment,